giving an ample opportunity to the commissioner to really fight it, in a fair and just manner. So I think there is a lot of hope in that direction.
Wonderful. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will continue with the conversation with Dr. Sama Banya. And viewers, you can now contribute via text. The message will come up on your screen, which is 076. That is if you are calling from within Sierra Leone. That is 076 978 161. And if you are calling from, or you're texting rather, don't call. Just send us a text message so that we can read your text messages on television live. The number will be +232 76 978 161 +232 76 978 161. We'll be right back after these messages.
There's only one place where you are always welcome, where you will always be part of the family, and you can always expect to find a helping hand. There's only one place where you will find a reliable partner for all your financial needs, and your funds will always be safe. It's only at Rokel Commercial Bank, because Rokel is more than a bank.
Well, this is your bank, a bank that is resplendent with splendor. It characterizes greatness, and it has a history that is deeply rooted in banking in Sierra Leone. Over 100 years, this bank has been around, initially as Barclays Bank, and now as Rokel Commercial Bank, your bank.
That's why our impact in the community is second to none. That's why we are expanding our branches to give you world-class service everywhere you go.
We've expanded as far as Kailaun, Wilkinson Road, Fabi College, Uberforce, and look out for us very soon. We're going to go to the north. We're going to go as far as Kwendu very soon.
When you look at our corporate online services, our SMS text banking, and of course our SimCorpo Plus, which cannot be rivaled by any.
That's why we are rolling out state-of-the-art digital systems to better serve you. And that's why you will always be our number one concern.
And by so doing, you have a bank that is going to be a modern bank to you, a bank that's going to be a credible bank to you, a bank that's going to make you feel like you're part of a banking family.
Visit any of our branches countrywide and join the winning family today. Welcome to Rokel Commercial Bank, your bank of choice.
Welcome back to Say It to Mercy TV, a special edition of Say It to Mercy TV. With me in the house is Dr. Sama Banya. What a privilege to have someone with immense experience in his 90s, is still going strong, and God, being gracious and merciful, has kept him strong and alive, and we pray that God will continue to sustain him for many, many more years to come, so that he will see his heart desired transformation in the nation of Sierra Leone. We're back, Doc. We want to talk about education. Education yesterday and education today. What's your take?
Well, I think that first standards have gone down, but then we hear the story. Every generation thinks that their generation is the best, but really for a while standard went down. And the last government, they set up a new commission to come out, to investigate and come out with recommendations. But now the system now confuses me, because I was brought up with school, with living certificates, Cambridge,
yes,
junior, Cambridge senior higher school, and then university, that kind of thing. Now, that is not the norm. 20 years of primary school education, then you have a secondary education that has first pre, what is it, they call it, basic education,
yes, yeah.
And then that's, as I see, that's the equivalent of what we call the junior Cambridge. And then after that, we used to go to strive to do higher school certificate. That's been abolished. So you get your WAS or O level, and after that you enter the university straight away. I found that strange. But what worries me about the system now is the level of efforts that people are making not to play it fair, not to get the children, the teachers, the parents. We're all guilty. We want to go the quick way so that our children will get the credit and get it over. And so you find that you're talking to people, I talk to people in primary and secondary school who have been once, and they've never had of the books that I read in class 5. You know, you tell them about Vicar of Wakefield, Robinson Crusoe, Treasure Island, and they just look at you blankly, you know, it's not there. Then also, the government efforts must be made to reduce the size of the classrooms.
Okay.
No teacher can give a homework with 90 people to correct every day. You know, it takes a whole night thing. So a lot needs to be done. But then the interesting thing and the rewarding thing is that the efforts are really being made. We have a dynamic young Minister of Education, Dr. Moina Senge, and he's really committed to this transformation. And again, like in other areas, this effort is being internationally recognized.
Yes.
And even yesterday I had the privilege that we were talking about this, and he's flying out short in the middle of this round again to another conference which he's co-chair. So Leon is co-chair, not his person. Wow. So it's a commitment, and it's not I am. Every time you talk to him, he's talking about we, the committees, and the community, and that kind of thing. So there's this transformation there. It just needs a little perfection in certain areas. But we are making progress.
Do you not think that the changes of the times, the technological age, before in your times there was no computers, and even the television system was different. Now we have flat screens and smart screens and all of this technological advance that has been procured by our generation. So do you not think that creates some form of transitioning?
Of course it certainly does. But the foundation has to be laid.
Okay.
If you just get on top and with a weak base, then it's not going to work. There will always be faults and that kind of thing. So I have to confess to you and to the viewers that I'm, technologically illiterate in all these areas. Yeah. Even my mobile phone, and I have to get my grandchildren to come and help operate it for me. My computer, I mean my WhatsApp. Only yesterday my son was telling me that I could actually dictate to it instead of using my fingers.
Yes,
I was amazed. I had never heard of that until it was demonstrated on my own phone. So the knowledge is there, but we have to make it slowly, and then so that we don't miss out and then say, this is responsible for the gap. And I think that is what this young man and his capable staff are trying to achieve. Lay a solid foundation, even as they strive to let everybody get involved. That of course has its disadvantages because the large numbers may not always bring out the best qualities, but that's not for the lack of effort.
What's your advice in regards to parents that are desperate to try and get their children up the ladder without going through the moral concept of education, and what do you have to say to them?
Well, that is an unfortunate attitude, because it also means that quite a few of them want to use unfair methods to achieve that, and we get it with no child gets money to bribe a teacher, or a lecturer, unless he gets it from his parents or whatever it is. So we've got to change its attitude, of competitiveness. It's good in itself, but it shouldn't be a cutthroat one. And sadly, that has been quite disappeared in the system. So those are the weaknesses that we need to take care of as we move along.
Wonderful. We're getting some messages filtering through. I'll come to those text messages very soon, but I want to hear more from Doctor. So the more information he gives out, the more topic that you will have to actually respond to. But Doctor, let's talk about peace in Sierra Leone. Education is connected to peace. Peace is connected to education, and you can't sensitize people unless you're willing to include or embed it in the curriculum, whereby some form of civic education will start from the grassroots. The kids, the house, the parents, they are all parent teachers. We're all part and parcel of making the nation great again. So let's talk about peace. What is your strategy? Should you be, let's say President Bill decides, oh, Dr. Banya, we want you to be a peace commissioner, and we want you to, but it's never too late for these things.
It's unlikely, but I am available. I talk to people, I talk to my friends, and I have the privilege of access to the president.
Yes.
And we certainly do talk about efforts and everything. I think one of the things that we need really as human beings is to agree that we live in a whatever society.
Yes.
And coexistence is essential. It's not going to be me all the time. Put yourself on the other person's side, feeling. And if you think that it's all, you should grab all, then that's not going to help. But also it is that you can't force peace. You can't force respect. You can't force yourself into leadership. You've got to earn it. People have got to see you and say, Samabanya, we think that you can lead in this direction. And you got to accept if they think that, no, we don't think you're good, but we don't think that you will take us to where we want to go. If we're humble enough to accept that tolerance, then we'll have very little problem. But that's the human nature in us is taking greater control, which is sad.
I just read this text. This person says, "Oh, Happy New Year to you, Mercy TV, and we're glad to see Dr. Sama Banya on your television station, and we're very, very intrigued here, and we are now gathered together in a group of at least 30 of us here in Western Australia, Perth. We're watching Mercy TV live, and we can't wait to hear all what Dr. Banya has to say. Though we joined late, but we were all texted, and we now decided to come together to listen to what he has to say, especially in relation to peace."
So, thank you. Like I'm saying that, for example, the first time I came into direct politics, I mean, I've been in it all my life. But when I came into active politics, it was a hard way. It was in my area. It was not an area that like the government in power. But after 2 years, I was being persuaded to join an effort to see what we can do about it. And it was rough. As I speak to you now, I've still got bullets in my head. Because we were ambushed, and I lost my brother and my cousin, and I was flown to UK, where again technology was not what it is today. So they removed one or two, and that's, it's risky to try to change the others, and they are there, So that's what we want to let people know. It doesn't have to be a fight, physical fight. It should be a fight of ideas, of knowledge, but also of sharing, of seeing the other person's point of view.
Yes, sir.
So not to think that everything you do is the right thing, or everything that your opponent does, it should be condemned. Again, it's human attitude, and this is not easy, but that's what we want to go after and preach and preach. And I'm glad that we set up the Peace Commission, and I hope that we can make use of whatever it is that they want to find out, what they want to know.
Wonderful. In Sierra Leone, we have a lot of work to do, especially with regards to sensitizing people. And what do you think should be done from the government's perspective, being a veteran, civil and also politician in the government, past governments? So what would you want to advise the government and the citizens of the people of Sierra Leone about peace education? Because like the media, I believe, is a new tool, a game-changing tool that can be utilized properly in order to be able to educate people now that there is a new toxic atmosphere which is called the social media, and it's been abused to the point to which it's been used to activate hatred, preach tribalism,
fake news, and you say it's all there.
So what would you advise our government?
Well, really we need to have a watchdog. We don't want, it's not censorship, but we must have a watchdog when we get this fake news, when we get this unfair attacks on people's character, impugning improper motive to other people's motive. They come in, try and talk to the other group, or let the public know that we've had this, Dr. Manya said this about, so and so. But we think he went a little too far. And we've brought this to his attention. And we hope that others can talk to him that he shouldn't go to that kind of extreme. It needs patience. It's not going to be achieved overnight. There has to be a willingness, a determination to acknowledge that the situation is there. And it is part of our problem is refusing to see, accept, like it says, if you want to, your sins forgiven, you must have an acknowledgement of sin.
Yes.
And that's your first sign of repentance, acknowledgement that you've sinned. So this is what we want to see, that all is not well in that direction. A lot is wrong, but we can all as a group help to put it right. It's a very, very difficult thing. It's very tricky. Yesterday I read news about some confusion in our own party, in one part of the country. And I wrote back that the leadership must attend to that straight away. And then I wanted to let somebody, one of the leaders in the area know. And I said, have you read this? He said, no, I haven't. Please send it to me. And we've gone through my WhatsApp like a tooth comb. It disappeared. So it may have been fake news, and then somebody said remove it at once. It's not there. But that's all. Those are the difficulties we have. There is so much of this fake news, and they're not positive. It's always to either bring down somebody or to somebody. I've read some really nasty ones, and not people who are coddle. That was unfair on them. And this is the kind of difficulty we have. It's not going to be easy, but I would appeal to every one of us to use our best endeavors, patience, tolerance, to be able to get over this.
With the religious tolerance in the country and the tribal intermarriages that has taken place in Sierra Leone over the past decades, what is at stake now if we, the public, civil society, government, the judiciary, the parliament, what is at stake if we do not act in a way of stepping up with our civic education?
We've had all of these, as you say, before, intermarriage, religious tolerance, and that kind of thing. But we are refusing to take advantage of them. We've had a reform of the judiciary, the head of the judiciary now, the justice is no longer delayed as it was in the past. But if we don't accept this, then the situation is hopeless. We might as well give up. My hope was that we'll be able to get to that end in my lifetime. But it seems now in my 93rd year, whether we can achieve it or not, it's a great disappointment, a great concern. I was brought up in a school where up to the age of 18, where it didn't matter where you came from, it just depended on who your colleagues were in the school, whether they came from north, south, east, or what tribe they were. And so we've still got that tolerance among us. So when we meet, it is about, first and foremost, our school, secondly, which house or dormitory you were in. And these are not lacking. We used to, in my time, we had football matches, colony versus protectorate, north versus south, and people who were in my school who were from the north, still played for the south, and vice versa. Now all that is absent, there's too much regionalism, self. It really is serious, and I'm glad that you, as social media, is concerned about this and appealing to them. I would say that to continue, don't give up, and to appeal to us all that it is the only way out.
Wonderful, because the problem of Rwanda must never be allowed to repeat in a beautiful, resourceful country like Sierra Leone, where we have rich cultural heritage and tolerance. We have diverse religious beliefs, and we always work together without falling out with one another. And also we have this intermarital relationship where the DNAs all cross-pollinate between tribes and regions, and just maybe few bad apples in the political arena may want to create a division that must not be accepted. So it is incumbent upon all Sierra Leoneans, regardless of your belief, your political belief, or your regional background, to really take a step back and say, hey, it's about us. It's about Sierra Leone. It's not about me, myself, and I. Because after me, there's going to be many more people coming through my lineage. So that's very important for us to focus upon. Tell us about what is happening in the area of development right now for Sierra Leone, even in the midst of challenges.
Well, in the midst of all what we've discussed, I think there is hope for development. First, infrastructure is so important. For example, in the past years, one would travel, getting to my own hometown, Kailan, one would travel up to the last 17 miles, and those 17 miles would take 3 to 4 hours because of the nature of the road. And if you are unfortunate to have one of these new trailers, these heavy trucks, blocking your way because they couldn't move, then you'll be there for days because the road was so bad you couldn't even say, let me pass by the side. So infrastructure is very important. It's an expensive process, but we need to do it. Rollins did it for Ghana, for example. He wanted the produce to come to the fore, so he concentrated on the road communication. And I'm glad that that has not been neglected. I mean, but all governments have seen about it, but one some more than others have done. But that is very, very important. Secondly, also spreading it out. Let it be even.
Yes, sir.
Let it not be where I have my most support or they didn't vote me in before, so they must pay a price. Sadly, this has been some of the reasons for the drawback, for the lack of unity, because in the past people were concentrating on where they were getting most support. But
yes,
again, all this goes back to us, education and civil societies activities, that they mustn't hesitate to take part, but they must strike a balance. Don't see it as wrong only because you have done it,
yes,
and they're going to help us.
Is there hope for some form of political negotiation that would appeal to moderate people in the region, the northern region, that is kind of like the hotbed for political instability. We're hearing about a bus being bombed in Port Loko, and a lot of like the August 10 incident. It's the hot spots where the north and then western area of eastern part of Freetown. So is there any room where we ordinary citizens can be privileged, also civil society, respectable civil society actors?
Respectable civil
Yes,
society
sir.
activists. Yes. I like that expression. Yes.
How can they influence some form of compromise, even if it calls for dialogue? How can that